Wow.
Oh.
Wow, look at everyone here right now. This is amazing. Look at this audience. The first galactic empire.
And I was like,
Dun, 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 dun,
I wouldn't put it past
do,
them.
do, do, do.
Yeah, there's a girl dressed as
Good,
Judy
we told them to ban all the Zootopia cosplayers. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you? Good, man.
Yay.
I see
Thank
that you are a partaker of Coca-Cola. Do you prefer Coca-Cola over Pepsi? I agree. It's all just sugar and carbonation.
What is it, the hot thing up in one fountain?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Ah, we have a pirate in the audience. Yaharg. I'm sorry, yarg.
Yahar.
The guy's like,
Oh my gosh, you're
native rare.
Pyrus. You from Undertale. Amazing. Look at this. Look at everyone. What a beautiful crowd. You guys, bless you. Everyone
Welcome
walking on in.
to the best panel you will ever
Oh,
see.
you all have no idea. It's incredible. I'm incredible. $5 per photograph.
Like those guys down on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, they want to get.
Yeah.
Pay you in twos?
What's that?
Pay you in $2?
yes.
Money is money.
His hair looks a lot better this year.
Whose hair?
Your hair.
Thank you so much. See,
It's been bugging him for a year.
seeing your mustache and knowing that you are an aficionado of hair makes me feel good to hear it from you.
Hey, race bats.
What's that?
Yeah.
How many Zootopia
I have
movies
the
you
worst memory.
Burnt through.
My mustache.
Okay, you got me.
I feel bad. I feel like I should have a box of chocolates to make this up to you or something. I need emergency boxes of chocolate in the future. All right. Well, everybody file in here and then we'll kick this off. I think we still got about 2 minutes.
I'm tweeting
I
that
just
we're
saw
going to
that
have so much fun.
he has hoovesies on his hand. He
Yeah.
Don't tell my girlfriend.
You don't have a girlfriend, Race. Stop pretending. Judy is not real.
Still, you shouldn't tell her.
How y'all doing?
For those that don't know me, they're like, oh wow, he's really strange.
Yeah, what an awful person. How y'all doing this morning? Very good. I'm good. I'm fine. I hear a voice and I'm like, where's it coming from? There it is. Like, eyes like targeting. There. Gotcha. All right. Let's start with some basic questions for you all. Ooh, didn't see that coming. How many of you all traveled here from outside the country? All right. Let's narrow it down. Where are you from, sir?
Canada.
That doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
I'm joking. I have to be American and say that. It's like we're like, you know, cousins, American and Canada. A little loving punch to the shoulder. That's all good fun. Who else had their hand up? How about you? England. All right. Very good.
Nice.
All right. I saw some other hands from out of the country. No? Yes.
Welcome.
I can accept that answer. Man, with you leaving, that means like 1/50th of the population's gone. Isn't there like 100,000 people who live in North Dakota, or 700,000?
So it's going down.
No, I heard it's beautiful out there. Like the purple mountains, majesty. No traffic?
No, any traffic that I encounter here just bugs me.
Yeah? Well, you're in Baltimore, my friend.
I remember Jillian and I were in Germany, a year and a half ago or something?
Yeah.
And
We went to Berlin, Germany.
Yeah, and
for a Bronycon. It was amazing.
I'll never forget when the guy who was driving me around was like, man, traffic's terrible. There's one car on the road.
Mind you, this is coming from a guy who got pulled over by a cop in Virginia. He went 20 over the limit, and his excuse was, I was keeping up with the traffic. And the cop goes, you're the only one on the road.
So technically, I was going as fast as traffic.
You were the traffic.
I was the traffic.
You were doing a very good job, keeping up.
No.
You were in the wrong city for traffic
Mm.
in Germany.
Yeah?
In Germany, it's Stuttgart. In
in German, traffic jam is referred to as a Stau, and the Germans refer to Stuttgart as Staugard, because it will take you as much as 2 hours to just travel roughly about 10 miles.
See, so they do have legitimate traffic. That's why I was confused, where I'm like,
Well, I just moved to LA, and the traffic there is as bad as everyone says.
well, that's why I'm like,
This guy lives
you don't
in LA
know
too.
traffic.
I just
try
got my
the
first
405.
parking ticket the other day. I've
What'd you
never
do?
gotten a ticket.
What'd
Wait, you got a parking ticket?
Parking ticket.
What did you
Utopia.
do?
I forgot to move my car.
What?
For street cleaning.
What? We're trying to keep the streets clean.
They look for any excuse to get taxes.
I
Yeah.
know, I
California's
know.
the highest tax state.
Oh, they are the highest state. I don't disagree with that.
Higher than Seattle? Washington, I mean? You know the state of Seattle?
The engineer says.
May as well be.
Despite appearances, this panel is not about us, it's about her and you all talking about books and writing and all that fun stuff. So let's go and kick this off with introductions. This is Miss G.M. Berrow. Ta-da!
Thank you all for coming to this panel. Makes me feel nice and warm and fuzzy to see you here. How many of you guys have read one of the books? Wow, that is so cool. Well, you're in the right place. So, do you have anything you want to get started with, or I don't know, I can just start talking about myself?
Let's do that. Let's do a quick little bio.
Okay, so it seems like all of you know, but for those of you that may not know, I write all of the My Little Pony chapter books, and I think now I've done about 17, which is nuts. There's the main 6 character books, and then the Princess Collection. I just finished writing the Twilight Sparkle Princess book, which will be coming out fall sometime. And then Discord, and Lyra and Bon Bon, and the Daring Do set, and more to come after that. So, I've been busy, and I've also written for the show. Only one of my episodes has aired so far, but there's been a lot I've been working on that you'll see later down the line. So, what else? Should I?
Well, I'm curious, what episode did you write for? I know.
Oh, in season 5, I wrote an episode called The One Where Pinkie Pie Knows, and it's about Pinkie Pie, having to keep the secret that she knows that Princess Cadance and Shining Armor are going to have a baby, and she has to keep the secret from Twilight because she doesn't want to ruin the surprise.
Cadance over here is all excited. She's like,
Cadance. Oh, she's got a little flurry heart over there. Oh, that's so cute.
He's still at the
Terrible.
train station.
See, it was really crazy because after that episode aired with Flurry Heart, Dairy Queen actually sued Hasbro for stealing the name of their new ice cream dessert, so...
People take it serious.
No, gosh, no, I wish it was. That'd be funny.
Yeah. I actually remember that when we were all talking about the name for it, that is not what I expected the baby to be called. Because I didn't know the name that they were going to choose when I wrote that episode, because it's just an episode about her finding out that they're going to have a baby.
Are we able to talk about what other names are
Yeah,
on
I'm
the table?
curious. Or maybe...
No,
they-
I can't.
So I'll assume it was Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
Donald.
Oh, good.
Well, I remember when I read the script for the premiere where they have her name, I was like, I thought, that sounds like a Dairy Queen thing. Like, that's so weird. But now it's grown on me. It's really cute. Have you guys seen the picture book, Good Night Baby Flurry Heart, I think it's called? It's so adorable.
Of course, Mom has.
Oh, yeah, they've got it over there. The art in it is incredible. It's the art is by, oh gosh. What's her name?
I like that they have their own flurry heart that they brought.
Oh yeah, Amy Meberson, and Mike Vogel wrote that. Anyway, I digress. What was I talking about? You'll see that I do that. Yeah, myself. This is weird. So I got into writing, I guess. I've always liked writing. As a kid, I wrote all the time. I read nonstop, like Twilight Sparkle. I never particularly wanted to be a writer as a career. I didn't think that was possible. But I went to film school because I knew I wanted to be in entertainment. And at film school, I really enjoyed screenwriting, specifically for kids' TV. So I took a lot of classes in that. And then after college, I ended up working in production at Law & Order as a production assistant. And during that time, I just wrote on the side for fun. And I was writing a script to practice and for fun for the TV show Glee, just a spec script, which is what we call a script where you are writing, like, if you were to write an episode of My Little Pony, you don't write for the show, but you want to learn how to get the voice down of the characters. So I was practicing by writing a script for Glee, and I had told a friend about it, and she worked at a publishing company. She was an assistant there, and she said, wow, that's so crazy. My boss is looking for someone right now who can help us come up with some stories for some Glee books. Do you want to try out for that? And I was like, yes. So I did, and then they chose me, which was really cool. And I started ghostwriting all sorts of teen books, which I didn't know how to do, but I just, went along with it. And then eventually I got the opportunity to write a My Little Pony book, which I thought would be one book. And now here I am. So that's like the short version of the story. Maybe we should go into some questions, because I don't know what else to say.
You got a question over here?
I have a question over here, yes, thank you. So the Daring Do books that you're writing, okay, so you have me confused. How many of them have actually been written and published?
Oh, 3. So,
oh, I knew it. Okay.
Yeah, so there
crazy.
yeah,
there
are 3. And on the inside of the cover, it says, other Daring Do books.
Yes.
We did that as a fun thing
Yeah.
to basically, I took all the titles that are mentioned in the show or other media, and I arranged them in the correct order. And then I added my 3 to the bottom because they wanted me to start fresh with books people had never heard of. So we dropped right into the middle of it as sort of a way to, I don't know, you're just supposed to assume that more has happened before that, and that these are the books that the ponies read in the show.
You're driving, I talked to a lady, publisher of these books down there. She said, I can't find these, I'm looking all over. I don't think they were
no.
published, so you got people going.
I should tell her, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. One of the problems I have whenever I'm trying to write is I get into scenes where I cannot figure out what to do. If you have that situation with a character, what do? Do you actually act it out? Because you talked about the fact you took film, so I take it you have some acting background as well. So I was wondering if you try and act out a particular scene for a character if you can't figure out what they're going to do.
That's one way to do it. I definitely get dialogue inspiration by, talking to my friends or talking it over, or also, it sounds creepy, but eavesdropping on people and the way that they talk to each other. That can really help. Not eavesdropping on something private, obviously, but if you're on a bus and people are talking, it doesn't hurt to take a couple notes about the way people speak to one another. They interrupt each other, they laugh about certain things. It's just a good practice. But if I'm stuck on a scene, honestly, you can do a few things. One thing is go to another scene that you do know later, and sometimes that will help you backtrack and fill in the middle part. Because you might be bored, which is a bad sign for a scene. Because if you're bored, then your reader's going to be really bored. And that's definitely happened to me. And the other thing you can do is to get off your computer and get a pen and paper and write it that way. Because that way it's less intimidating. You're going to type it up, and so you have a round of editing built in. So it's less pressure. You're just scribbling it down, maybe go sit somewhere outside, take a walk. Those are all the things I do. Pinky?
I just wanted to say, my mom here is also a children's writer.
Oh, really? Wow, that's awesome. What kind of books do you write?
Well, I started out with the Great Illustrated Classics. They redid them, and I did 7 of those.
Oh, awesome.
Then I went from that to, actually, adult cozy mystery. But I'm also writing YA.
Cool, so you know how it goes.
I'm sitting there nodding,
Yeah. Yep.
And if anyone doesn't have a little note thing
Yeah.
on their phone, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Always have either a notepad or your phone to take notes in. Because you'll get random ideas anywhere. I'm sure you guys, you're all readers. Probably a lot of you guys are writers.
Or you see somebody who's that you really like.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you remember it. It might be perfect for a character. So I'll just like write down a little description and things like that. So it's,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, what she look like.
Oh, one other thing I do, this doesn't really apply to Pony, but if I'm writing something with humans, I'm like notoriously bad at coming up with outfits for people to wear and when you need to describe a character. So what I do is I go on Pinterest and I'll type in a couple phrases that I think like apply to the character I'm trying to describe, and I'll just choose one of the photos that matches and I'll describe that outfit. Stealing outfits. Yeah.
Do you plan on writing any more Daring Do books in the future?
It's a definite possibility. They were kind of waiting to see how the individually sold ones did, and they're doing really well, so I think it's a good sign.
Started the top.
Yeah.
Do you, when you come up with the ideas for your books, do you go to the show creators and say, I have this idea, or do they give you an idea they have and ask you to turn it into a book?
The way it works is they tell me what character they want me to write. And then they say, come up with something. And then I go write up a whole pitch. Hopefully I get an idea. You know, it's becoming tougher because there's so many My Little Pony stories with the comics, with my books, with the episodes of the show, that I don't want to repeat stuff, and I want it to be in line with what's going on screen. So it can be tricky, but usually I have at least one or two ideas, and I'll type it up, and then they'll come back to me and say, this is great, except change this thing, or this is going to conflict with some other later down the line plans we have. It's been a little easier since I started writing for the show too, but I've always gotten scripts, so I know what's happening. Well, actually, not always. In the very beginning, I didn't. So there was some discrepancy in the first book, but yep, that's how it works. In the hat?
Well, you know, you started with books about the main six. We've gone on to do ones with Discord and Lyra and Bonbon, and even the Daring Do books. So I was wondering, you know, when you're branching out to side characters and even background characters, are there any characters who you particularly love to write a book about? Do you have it yet?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've tried before to suggest certain characters to my publisher, and they kind of ignore what I want to do. So I just let them decide. I mean, I wanted to write a Cutie Mark Crusaders book, but they wouldn't let me do that. And then I said, you know, maybe a Spike book, and then they didn't want that. People get annoyed at me about that. I'm like, it wasn't my call, but
We gotta petition them.
yeah, but you know, there are ways around that. Like if there's a character that I want to write and they don't have their own book, I can just drop them in as like a side main character in another book.
Side main character? I like that. So Applejack.
Yeah. I don't know. Who would you write a book about?
Who would I write a book about?
I wonder.
Hayseed Turnip Truck.
What about you?
Celestia.
Celestia?
Celestia.
It'd be a short book.
You wrote a Celestia
No, I want
book.
another one where this is what's going to happen. All right, don't steal my idea. This is trademarked. All right, an episode. All
Where's
right,
my notepad?
where Luna sleeps in and the sun rises anyway, and people are like, she's a fraud, and she's like, I'm a fraud. And also, I want there to be a science pony the entire time saying, I knew it, I knew it. And he'll be voiced by Bill Nye, the science
Don't
guy.
you mean Celestia sleeps
What's that?
in? Celestia sleeps in.
Who?
Luna.
You said Luna.
They're the,
Look, I got confused. I needed to clarify.
they're both sleeping in.
You're fired. No.
Donald. I'm sorry, President Donald. All right, next question, please.
Right here.
Okay, I'm sorry it's very long-winded, but it's for my sister. She couldn't be here. She really wanted me to record it as well, so that's like it as well.
Okay.
She said in the book Celestia, there's students are learning about alicorns, and they're talking about magical alicorns. And they mentioned that the only two magical alicorns are Princess Cadence and Twilight Sparkle. But then they started mentioning a third before they get interrupted. So she wants to know, are we going to see a third magical alicorn? Are you making your own alicorn?
Did you guys hear her question?
Or with the introduction of Flurry Heart, did that idea get thrown out the window?
You know, I did that to tease everyone. Honestly, I was trolling you. I got to amuse myself.
And then the show trolled you back.
Everybody likes that. Like, surprisingly, the few times I've put little troll things in there, everyone loves it. So I also thought it would be good to leave it open-ended and be a little mysterious. In case that does happen, and then I can be like, see, I knew it all along.
This is what it's coming down to. There's alicorns here, alicorns there. Before you know it, it'll be corn popping out of the ground.
Yeah, I don't particularly... Alicorn? Yeah. Got it.
Corn on the cob.
Got it. No, I don't particularly, want or need another alicorn, but...
Tell that to Hasbro's merchandise. Another!
Oh, well, hi, sister.
Next question, please.
In the back there?
Is there anything you can tell us about the writing process for the lyric and bonbons?
She's going to hate me.
I did record it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
It's
got
recording
cameras
back
everywhere.
There. Sorry.
Yeah.
What was your question again?
Is there anything you can tell us about the writing process and what you did for the lyric and bonbon book? I really like that one.
Oh, thank you. The writing process. Well, with that one, I had just a small chunk to go off of from Slice of Life. A lot of times, the higher ups, they'll have ideas like, the fans seem to like this one. They like this part of this thing, and make a whole thing out of it, which is great because that's my job. But I thought it was cool that they were secret agents. So I was trying to kind of emulate Men in Black a little bit because I love that movie. As a child, I was obsessed with it. So I like the idea of just, going into a secret hideout and having this whole operation that actually nobody knows about, and going into Manhattan because I recently just moved from New York. I still consider myself a New Yorker, so I wanted to throw that in there. I guess just the writing process is what's fun, what could be a nice homage, and what's gonna make people laugh. I guess it worked. I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question at all, but
Yep. Just asking where the bathroom is. Good Lord. Next question.
Over here.
Are you thinking about writing any of the older generation of My Little Pony? Back to the first ever My Little Pony and bring them into the newer book?
Oh, old characters?
Yes, very old characters.
I would love to. I recently tried to bring in a character though that was a toy I had, and they told me I couldn't. So I will
a Hot
try.
Wheels truck?
I always try. I try a lot of stuff and see if it works. With the books, it's a little easier to get past. I don't know who to say, executives in terms of random little side characters. They don't mind as much, but with the TV show, it's a little harder, which is where I was trying to do it. So maybe that's why they have a lot of strange copyright issues with names, even from the past, because some of them have expired, and they don't renew them because there were so many characters.
Well, Rainbow Dash was going to be that lightning. She had another name that Lauren apparently wanted, and Hasbro's though we own it, we can't use it.
Yeah, it's very strange. And actually, this is interesting. The Daring Do books that I've written, the names of those books can't be said in the show.
Why?
I don't know why.
When Harrison Ford watches, he might get upset.
So we can mention new Daring Do books, and we can mention events from the Daring Do books, but we can't mention the titles of those books.
That's really bizarre.
I don't actually understand why, which is very strange, but
Do you upset some lawyer by any chance?
I guess
at
that,
Hasbro?
maybe. No.
You cut him off in
But
traffic?
that's a good idea. I should definitely do that.
Daring do that.
Cadence?
Yes.
Nice one.
My question is, it doesn't include Daring Do because I know they are adventure books, but I was just wondering if a lot of the main six and even the princess books have been like slice of life. Do you think you're gonna write any more types of adventure books with My Little Pony?
You mean with the main six ponies?
Yeah, or even princesses or just like.
I would love to, but the issue is that I'm trying to keep it as canon as possible. I don't want them to have too many epic adventures in the books that can't be slipped in between the episodes and be plausible. So with the Daring Do books, it worked because it's fiction for the ponies. So it's kind of oddly meta, but I was allowed to almost do whatever I wanted with those because it could all be fiction. It doesn't even need to exist. It could have just come from A.K. Yearling's mind. So it confuses even me when I think about it too much. But yeah, I like to do slice of life stories though. That's more my thing. But the Daring Do books definitely gave me a taste for that adventure stuff. I think I'm more likely to do an adventure story that has nothing to do with My Little Pony on my own. So
I got a question for you. From the Daring Do aspect, do you feel like it, from your perspective, does it kind of complicate things since they made her, they made it to where she actually is not a fictional character in the show?
yeah, it's pretty complicated. But, you know, the way I get around that is, like I was saying, is anything that I write in Daring Do, it doesn't have to have existed in their universe. She could have been inspired by events that she experienced. And, you know, writers take artistic license all the time. So she could have invented a monster in her head, and the monster could have just been something like normal
She's
to them.
doing her taxes on the IRS. It's coming. Like, oh.
Yeah, it could, like, it's kind of excusable within anything to be like, oh, well, yeah, she made that up. It's fiction.
Cool.
I mean, she's real.
I always love that when people are like, I don't believe it. And I'm like, well, let's go consult with the talking ponies and see what they have to say about that.
I know. Right here.
So I'm just wondering how similar or how different it is writing for a book in comparison to writing an episode?
You know, I've always tried to structure them as if they were episodes, and I want them to read like you're watching an episode. So I focus a lot on dialogue and, you know, just try to have this 3-act structure. It's very formulaic, the way I write them. Obviously, if you've read them, you know. It wraps up pretty quickly. It's fast. The main difference is that I can write more dialogue and I don't have to worry about timing or what an actor is going to say or even bringing in extra characters, because in a script you have to be aware of how many characters you bring in, because that means they have to bring in actors and pay them. So a lot of times in a script they'll say, okay, well, we're going to make this character that says this thing, we're either going to delete this part if they say like 1 or 2 lines, or we're going to make it a character that was already going to be in a recording session that day, like Tabitha will say that, you know, as this character. So there's stuff like that to be aware of in a script. You're thinking more about a huge team of people that's going to have to bring it to life. You can't go to as many locations. A lot of times, and this is something that I'm always trying to tell fans about it. Everybody wants to go to these new places. We want to see more of Equestria. Why can't we see more stuff? It's budgetary reasons. You can't create new sets for every single episode. We have to pull from stuff that exists. So in books, I can do whatever I want. It doesn't even matter. I can create a whole new city or, you know, 100 new characters. I can make big crowd scenes and, make Lyra and Bon Bon have a little side line, but that's the main difference, basically.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Him, I guess.
Both
first?
at the same
Yeah,
time.
sure.
Speaking more about the show, have you, while working on the books, consulted with any of the VAs or writers as far as getting inspiration or figuring out other ways to, I guess, write them?
There's been a few times I've consulted with some of the animators about like certain things I wasn't sure how they were going to look, but I had read in a script, but I wanted to reference. It doesn't always work because sometimes they don't have visuals for it yet. But I think I asked Jason one time what the, the Ponytones outfits were going to look like, and he told me. I haven't really asked any of the actors, although I did go stay at Andrea Libman's house recently, and while I was there, I was working on something for Pinky, and I just was giggling to myself because I was like sitting across from her at her kitchen table, and I was like, this is so funny, I get to choose what you say. And like, I was like, will you say this for me really fast? And she was like, sure. So it was kind of great in a way.
She's got a little
wish I could
taxi
carry
cab.
her around with me everywhere.
Little taxi cab thing where she hits the button and charges you for every line.
Yeah. No, she gave me that for free. It was good. It was
wow.
really nice.
It's
Yeah.
good business.
It was nice.
I think he had a
Oh yeah, over here.
I was just curious, is there or was there any character that you found really hard to write dialogue, characteristics, anything like that for?
I know there has been. I mean, Lyra and Bon Bon a little bit because their characters have not had a lot of screen time where they speak. So I felt like I kind of had to develop a dynamic between them going off of that one scene. So I kind of went with Lyra as more like the fun, like careless one, and Bon Bon's a little more serious. So that was a little bit of a challenge just because there wasn't a lot of source material to work with. Luna was really fun, but a little bit of a challenge because I know how much everyone loves her. So I didn't want to mess it up. Hopefully I didn't.
No.
Oh, thanks guys. It's real nice.
You did it. You did it. Well done.
Over here.
When you're writing, are there any rules that, like the Hasbro overlords regarding canon, which you are not allowed to write about?
Hasbro overlords?
Well, actually, yes, the overlords tell me. No more princesses. I had in the Celestia book, she goes to this other city, and she's helping this other magic school, and her friend is named Duchess Diamond Waves, and she was originally princess of that land, and they said no more princesses, even though it was another land, and I was like, okay, fine.
So you just made him a guy and he's a prince now.
No, yeah, she could be a duchess, but that happened to me one other time, actually, in the Daring Do book, and I was like, but it's fiction, it's not real. They didn't get it. They made me change it to a duchess again. So.
Use, I don't know, czar or something.
Yeah. Over there?
Have you ever, or are you even allowed to include characters that have been featured in the comic series, IDW comic series of My Little Pony?
I'm not allowed. I used to keep up with the comics a lot better. I'm a little behind just because the volume of them, and sometimes when I have my downtime, I don't really feel like reading My Little Pony just because it's just all the time. That's all that's in my head. I try to read some like grown-up stuff sometimes. Yeah,
Whoa,
Harry Potter.
My Little Pony's not grown up?
No, you know what I mean.
I'm playing.
But yeah, I think I actually have included a few comics things in the books. I think I put, did I? Tiberius?
Yes.
Okay, you guys know. And I think there was another time in one of the earlier books where I talk about because I thought it was so funny, the like suit that Pinkie Pie wears of herself. I think I mentioned that once.
The Ren and Stimpy suit.
Yeah, and I did actually push for something from the comics to be included in the show, and they did go with it. So you'll see that later this season. I didn't get to write the episode, but it was my idea, and I'm sticking with that. I'll tell you later after it's aired.
Still copyright GM Berrow.
No, you won't see it. But the episode turned out really, really good. Nick Confalone wrote it, and he's awesome. So, up here?
Do you have any original content coming out?
Any original content? Not anytime soon. I have something I'm working on that I really like when I have some breaks from Pony, but right now Pony's keeping me really busy. So I'm just going to go with that for now. Spike in the back.
If someone told you 10 years ago you'd be speaking at a convention for My Little Pony, would you believe them?
No. Of course not. If somebody told you 10 years ago you would be sitting here in a Spike the Dragon That's, I know. We're all here though. We're in this together.
Yeah.
We're in it together. It's a great place to be. Back there.
I was just curious whether any of you checked some of the illustrations that David did during the books, because I was confused to tell us in the actor they kind of work. Like,
Yeah.
Illustration for Eternal Flower, you can see him flying on the dragon, and the dragon's this wrong color, and her uncle doesn't need to have his unicorn horn.
You know, I was kind of confused by that too. I described everything I thought pretty clearly in the text, and then my editor was like, look at these cool things that are going to be in the book, and I was like very excited about it, and I saw it, and I was shocked because it wasn't the same, but I don't know, really. It was, I forget the artist's name. I'm like having issues remembering names today, but
It was me, thanks.
it was him. I don't know. I guess he just decided to take his own artistic license with that, and you know, in the third book, he put Caballero on the cover, and that was weird because he wasn't in that book. So.
Another book series all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever, right? It's cool. I don't know. I wish I had an answer. Over here.
You've written episodes, you've written chapter books. Are there any other sorts of, My Little Pony media you'd be interested in writing in the future, be it, comics or picture books or a reference guide type books, anything like that?
Yeah, I actually might be writing a picture book soon, and I did just talk to Tony. I mean, it's not for sure, but we were speaking about me maybe writing a comic. I would be interested in that, actually. I think it would be fun. So maybe I'll be like across the board. It'll be like the My Little Pony version of an EGOT. Yeah. It'll be like the comics, the books, the show. You will all listen to me in whatever form of media is available.
Dance.
I don't know. We'll see, though. I'd love to. In the back. Yeah.
So what's on your reading list right now? Like, what are you reading this time? Do you have any authors you like or any book series that you like reading that you should recommend?
Yeah, I really like science fiction. I'm actually looking for a new science fiction book to read because I actually haven't gotten to read in a while, so I can't even remember what I just read. But I always talk about Ready Player One because I love that book. I read it twice, which says a lot. Has anybody read that? It's really fun.
They're making that a movie, aren't they?
Yeah, they're making it a movie. It's kind of about virtual reality and this kid that plays all these video games, which doesn't seem like it would be something I'd be into, but it was really good. Check it out.
I saw Pixels.
Pixels? Yeah. I didn't see that. I'm going to read the Zootopia book by A.C. Racebest.
It's coming out.
Yeah. Over here.
First of all, my badge name reads A.K. Yearling because I'm a writer too.
Oh.
And I've always felt an affinity to A.K. Yearling. And second of all...
Or you're the real A.K. Yearling.
Oh. Scandal.
Dab.
Secondly, I still have your original book set preserved.
Oh, good.
I bought a couple of years ago at the auction.
Mm-hmm.
Third, I was wondering, do you or anyone know anything about the past life of A.K. Yearling?
I touch on it a little bit. Well, in the Daring Do books, I touch on the Daring Do passage. But you know, in my head canon, my head canon is canon, you guys. The stuff I said in the Daring Do book about her uncle and stuff like that, I think that A.K. Yearling has that same experience. You know, they went on these adventures together when she was little. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what her first adventure was?
No, I don't.
Being born.
She's very mysterious, though. I like it that way. It's like completely opposite of me. I'm an open book.
Well, if I'm correct, aren't you going to make one about her brother who's kind of like a bit of a redneck?
Yeah.
AK-47?
AK-47. That's terrible.
Next question.
That was a joke.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Over there.
Is there anything you would enjoy writing that you know you couldn't get away with, like certain characters or story arcs or anything?
That I couldn't get away with?
Like something you wouldn't want to write, but you knew they wouldn't let you.
I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that because I try to work within the parameters I'm given, because otherwise I'm spending like brain juice on stuff that I can't even, you know,
Is that your new
make
energy drink?
I don't know. Brain juice, guys. I haven't really thought that over. I mean, let me maybe circle back around to that. I'm gonna think about that.
Because you mentioned about the CMC and the spike book.
Yeah. I guess that. There's probably something in there that I know I couldn't get away with. Pirate.
You should open a fan fiction account.
No.
Have that brain juice, go someplace.
The problem is then right after you release it, they come out and go, okay, you can do it now. And you're like,
that brain just becomes alcoholic after that.
Yeah. No.
Real alicorn.
Not gonna do it. I'm gonna open a Zootopia fan fiction account.
Do it. I'm ready for this.
Oh, I feel like I just had something that I wanted to write. Okay. I gotta think about this.
If only had a post-it.
While
Star
we're
Wars?
still on characters, does it seem like the people that give you said they give you the ideas for the characters that you're supposed to write for, does it seem like it's by popularity, or are they just like throwing random stuff at you?
Yeah, I think it's by popularity. I mean, they're business. They want to do characters that will sell. I mean, and if you like the books or you like certain characters, you know, just vote with your dollars. You have to buy them. You know, don't download them online if you want to see more. That's what I always say. And I'm not saying that because I get any percentage of that sales. I'm saying that just as if you like it, just buy it. You had your hand raised.
When you were writing the dialogue for Agent Furlong, did you have like an Agent K kind of voice in mind, or something deeper like Idris Elba?
Yeah, sort of like an Idris Elba. That's like a good. I just like had this, you know, this old kind of old timer gruff thing that I really wanted to spoof. I like saying like kid after everything, you know.
Sorry, I was talking to
going
Riz.
on?
You said Idris Elba. I'm like.
So of course we were talking about Zootopia up here.
Chief Bogo the entire
Yeah.
This guy has a problem.
Yes, he does.
And I like it.
Over here.
What's the strangest sort of feedback you've received for one of your books, either from fans or from your publisher or from Hasbro?
Strangest feedback. Oh, well, I can't tell you that because it's not out yet. So I received some strange feedback about my Twilight Sparkle Princess book, but I argued with them this time and I was like, no, I know this world better than you. I live in it.
But they're like, can't
Don't worry,
drive a
guys.
car?
It's all going to be great.
Like, this is historically accurate. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I do try really hard to keep everything straight and to cross-reference things that have happened and to not forget little moments in episodes and talk about them, because I just like that when everything kind of works together. So, I don't know. I hope it shows. I hope it continues that way and that I don't lose it all, because there's a lot up there now about ponies, and I'm sure you guys understand.
Do you have any interest in writing about Octavia, or is that a character you thought about at all?
Octavia would be cool. One thing that is a challenge, honestly, is writing people stuff, because, I mean, for books, you know.
You can't like do the lyrics.
Yeah, so that would be a little hard, but I mean, writing about her as a character could be interesting. She's a little more reserved. I don't know. We'll see if they want to do that. Honestly, it depends on how well the Lyra and Bonbon book does. So we'll see.
How long does it take you to write a book?
The short answer to that is as long as I have till my deadline. And for the first chunk of that, I do no writing, and then I write it all. No.
Just like
I don't know. I don't get that long to write them. It's sometimes it depends on the schedule, honestly. Sometimes it'll be like a couple months. Sometimes it'll be 1 month. Sometimes it'll be less than that. But I also am thinking about the idea months in advance, because a lot of times they'll tell me like the next 3 books are these characters. So I'll be marinating or trying to kind of pepper in like things for the next ones, or, you know, give little hints. I've had a lot of people catch on to a little hint for something that I put in the Princess Cadence book. There's like a part where Shining Armor gets this letter from Celestia, and I never say what it is, but it's just that like Cadence isn't allowed to hear it, and everyone's like, what was that? I'm like, oh, maybe you'll see.
It's some prince from like Somalia. I need
That wasn't a
$300.
troll. You never know with me though. Could be a troll.
Yeah, I believe it. Are there trolls in the My Little Pony universe?
Like trolls?
Cave trolls? Not DreamWorks trolls, TM.
Well, I'm not at liberty to talk about
But this is America. Of course you have liberty.
There's like the trolls with like the jewel on their belly button.
Did they have that?
I thought we
Lord
were
of the
talking
Rings?
about internet trolls.
That'd be great. Lord of the Rings. Like,
You guys ever have trolls?
thinking about that scene from Fellowship of the Ring. The door's being knocked
Okay.
down. A big old troll with an afro walks in.
Okay, this is good. I can work.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds good.
A big old troll with an afro walks in.
Yeah.
End scene.
And see, movie's over. We're good. Wrap it up.
Is there anyone who hasn't asked a question yet? Okay.
You've done the first Equestria Girls film as a book. Is it plans to do Rainbow Rocks or Friendship Games?
I think they were done as books, but I didn't do them. Were they? Does anyone know? I think Perdita Finn did those. The reason for that is that I'm only one person, and when those were supposed to be written, I was originally going to do them, but it was a choice for me to do either those or the Daring Do books. So I chose the Daring Do books because I thought it sounded like more fun than adapting something that existed already. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Over here.
Out of all the books you've written, which book's final version was the most drastically different from like a first draft?
I would have to say Daring Do in the Forbidden City of Clouds. A huge portion of that got cut out that I thought was really cool because they were apparently thinking about doing something very similar to what I had written in the My Little Pony movie. But now in the stages of development for that, it's completely different now too. So that was a bummer. But yeah, I would have to say that one. In the red?
So you've come up with some stories, ideas for Glee, and you've written for My Little Pony. Are there any other franchises that you'd be interested in writing a story for if they came to you?
Let's see. I'm sure that there would. I mean, I've always had like a dream to write a movie, a Pixar style movie. That's actually been my deepest dream, secret. No, it's not really a secret. But in school, that's always what I wanted to do. that's not really a franchise, but sort of. I guess if I could write like a Toy Story movie or something like that.
Panel, the Disney exec will come and say, "Would you like to write Zootopia too?"
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
I think that would be so cool.
Ray's just answers for you. He's like, yes, we would. That's your mic.
Doing. No.
It's a follow-on to something he asked regarding the length on the of time you have for the books. My question, though, is a slight twist. Do you have a word count that you normally shoot for?
I do. It's a range. I think I generally try to shoot for, it's not a lot of words actually. It's about 12,000, 13,000.
Okay.
It's the length of the books because they're still supposed to be so that kids can read them and not feel super intimidated. I try to put in some big words there because that's what I liked as a kid. I like to learn new words through what I was reading. If it was something that I was interested in, it made it easier to swallow than just like, oh, here's your words to study this week, kids, and having a test on it. It's more fun that way. Some people don't like that, but it's just my style.
The pony version of Don Quixote.
Yeah, exactly. Over here?
Don Quixote. Someone else said that.
The word counts for the books. Would you be interested in writing a daring do novel that was, say, Harry Potter length in size and scale?
Sure, yeah, I would love that. Daring do, though, as much as I love writing daring do, and I really do, it's difficult because, okay, I wish she was not a Pegasus. It's so hard to put her in danger. I say this all the time because she can just fly away. You always have to invent injuries for her wings or some magical cloud that she flies through and then she's immobilized. It's challenging. And also the other thing is that they can't be really, really dark. They need to stay in the spirit of the show. I've gotten a lot of feedback from fans who like to tell me that they wish they were darker or more bloody or something, but
And that's why Shia LaBeouf's pony being the final cut.
So, yeah, I would if I could do those things, but I don't know that I'm gonna get to do that. Yeah, so.
Just thinking about what he asked for the scale, is it hard sometimes, if you're working with a character that's borrowed from the show, you essentially, I would imagine, have to keep them static. You could write an adventure, but at the end of it, they can't really develop or change. So it seems that if you were to undertake a larger scale, that would just be tough to keep it interesting without being able to evolve the characters too.
Yeah. So he was saying, did you guys hear what he said? That it's tough to basically add a lot of depth to a character that's in the show without changing their character too much, because then at the end you have to basically bring them back to the place that they were. I find that difficult, honestly. Sometimes I'd love to add more depth or history to certain characters or have them change more, but I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You got to bring them back to where they are. But luckily, now that I work more on the show, I have a little pull with that, because then I can kind of like pull this string and then pull this string, on both sides a little. I'm not like all powerful. I can't get everything I want on the show, but I can make more suggestions at least. So I can avoid that more. Back? Oh, no, back. Sorry. You next.
You're saying that the actual writing phase was around 2 months, but the conceptual pre-production might be 3 months, or who knows how long they come up with an idea. Is there a deadline to actually start writing, or do you just like to come up with a lot of ideas before you actually start putting them down?
I mean, really, I'm supposed to start writing as soon as I turn in one book. I'm supposed to start on the next one if the idea is approved. I mean, the go sign is, yes, this premise is good, go. It always happens in a different way. I don't want to dawdle a lot of times, but it is very intimidating to start. Even now, I still have a hard time getting started. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. A blank page is so scary. But deadlines are good motivation. And although I think this is really nice, I read another author likes to call them lifelines.
What does it say? Get the word dead thrown in there.
Yeah, lifelines instead of deadlines, because then it's more positive, and also it feels like you're being, when you finish, you're like thrown a lifeline. Oh,
You got Regis Philbin there hanging out with you.
Yeah, like deadline is such a scary deadline, you know?
That's what motivates me, though.
Motivated by fear,
Death.
I guess, or death. Oh, okay. Choose life. Oh, you were next. Oh, sorry.
It's your call.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just wondering first if they exist and what are they? Do you have ships in the main series?
Oh,
They went across the ocean at one time, right?
I don't know.
You look at Reese like, yeah.
I wanted to hear if he had.
Glad you asked.
You picked up a book. Poof.
Nick and Judy.
Oh.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. My Little Pony.
He's talking about a rabbit, you guys. A naked rabbit.
She's wearing clothes.
I thought you said naked, Judy.
I said Nick and Judy.
I was like, you guys, this is supposed to be for families, and it's a rabbit.
Just to clarify, it's not just Judy, it's naked Judy.
That's what I thought.
We can't take him to any pet store.
I was like, did you see my face? I was like, oh, why did I ask you? Okay, yeah, ships. No, not really. Didn't mean for it to go to this place.
Sure.
I ship them two.
Oh, thank you.
When are we going to be in a book?
But not
We're not naked, though.
No.
Clothes on.
I don't really ship any of the ponies because that's just like, I don't know. That can get like bad for me if I like decide to do that, because then I'll put it in there and that's weird. Like my goal is to have it be as much like the show as possible. So if I don't think it would happen in the show, I'm not going to even think about it.
So Mr. and Mrs. K.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're just dating.
I mean, yeah, but can you ship them if they're already together?
I shipped my parents so hard. Spoiler alert, they're divorced. But no, I ship Hillary Clinton with Donald Trump.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. What was your question? Let's move on from that.
Being that you're continually writing, do you have a dedicated editor or do you work with different editors for each book?
I have an editor. Her name is Mary Kate, and she's very nice.
And where's Ashley?
Ashley's off. Yeah, it's an Olsen twin. Yeah. Shocker.
Does John Stamos show up and?
Yeah.
Cool, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, one editor and a copy editor.
So that's two editors.
Well, no, but a copy editor is for those people that don't know. They just go through and fix all the grammar and the punctuation and, you know, ask for clarification on certain things. Like, for example, they'll say, oh, this pony in this other book on our style sheet, that's what they call it, the like, basically everything that's been mentioned, or this pony earlier in this book was mentioned as having a pink mane and tail, and now you said she has a purple mane and tail. That doesn't match up. Which one is it? So they'll do that.
So errors as far as like spelling or grammatical, really rare, right?
Yeah, actually, I've been told by my copy editors that I have like one of the best accuracy rates for grammar and punctuation.
They have like a
which is
rating
very
system,
makes me
right?
very proud of myself because I really try, and I love spelling. I love spelling. It's like my favorite thing.
Emmy Larson's script is one giant red squiggly line from start to finish.
So.
And just so everybody knows, we have about 5 minutes.
Oh. Aw, I'm just having fun,
Oh.
you guys.
Let's keep the questions going then. Who's next?
Back there, Twilight. Oh, just with a script or with a book or? Oh. It doesn't happen that often, unless the fans are really mad about something I wrote. And sometimes I'll get an idea later that might have worked better. But honestly, it's best not to beat myself up over it because there's new books I can try that thing in, or I don't know, when something is done, it's kind of like nice to just give yourself the relief of not trying to edit it. It's printed, you know? There's no going back. And also a lot of times with a script, there's lots of things I wish I could do, but unfortunately it's more people have a say in it. So yeah, can't really do anything about that either. It's just part of the job. Anything else? Oh, back here.
So when you're writing, like in an established setting for MLP, do you find yourself using a lot of the show Bible characters, or do you invent your own?
I like using the characters that are established, and inventing my own is like more of a new thing. Now that I've, in the Princess Collection, kind of gone to some more new places, you have to invent new ones. They're both good to do. I mean, it's nice when people have recognition. That's a big thing that I know we talk about sometimes in meetings at work, how fans and kids really like recognition of something that they've seen. Like that, I'm reading this book and I know this character. I remember seeing this character. It's somehow very important in connecting with it. So I try to keep in a lot of characters that people know. The newer ones are a little trickier, but you know, it's fun to invent characters. I'm sure you guys know all about that, OCs and stuff. It's funny when people criticize me though for OCs. I think that is just so hilarious. People are like, it's just an OC. It's like, well, no, it's printed in this book that has Hasbro's logo on it. You have to, every character is an OC at some point, right? Hope for all of your OCs.
Oh.
Just jumping off of what you just said, is there any situation where you had to change a character, like you had a situation in the book where you were like thinking of using an established character, but decided that it wouldn't suit them and had to create an original character for that role, or situations like that?
I'm sure that there were, but I can't think of any at this moment in time. I was thinking back though to what I was answering this question. One of my favorite mentions I got to do was in the Luna book when I got to name her two bat ponies and like kind of talk about that. It was cool. Their names are Echo and Nocturne. And I got to do some lore in that one, which was cool. I don't think, well, actually, this isn't specifically answering your question, but in the original Twilight book, the first one, I wanted to write it as the villain as Chrysalis, but they wouldn't let me do that because of the comic arc at the same time, so I had to change it and rewrite it and put in Gilda and Trixie, which is the #1 thing I'm maligned for. You know, like, people hate that, so I do wish I could change that to answer that other question too.
I think we are at the end of the panel, so you want to say anything before we close out?
Thanks for coming.
And where to keep our eyes open for your next book, when that's going to drop?
Oh yeah, Starlight Glimmer and the Secret Suite comes out August 30th. So keep an eye out for that. And eventually the Trixie book will come out someday. I think that's like a major Hasbro trolling thing. They're just like going to keep pushing it back and back and back to watch that guy from Equestria Daily get upset.
Take that, Seth. Puppet Masters.
Thanks to these guys for sitting up here with me. I'm sorry you didn't really get to talk that much because I'm such a chatterbox.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
See y'all later.